Welcome to Zone In Sports, your favorite spot for real talk, bold takes, and everything in the zone when it comes to sports. From hard-hitting analysis of the Miami Hurricanes football to the hottest stories across the sports world, we're bringing you that energy, passion, and a little bit of swagger, just like the U. So whether you're tailgating in the Coral Gables or arguing in the group chats or just vibing in your way to work, buckle up. You're in the zone with your host, D. Hamp.
All right, guys, give me a second here. All right, guys, let's talk about it now. I came on today. It took me a day. I usually come on Saturdays, but you guys know out there, I like to not be in my feelings when I come on here. I like to stick to the facts. So it took me a day to compartmentalize the game. I didn't see the first half because I was doing some other things, but I did get to watch the second half. And I watched the condensed version of the game. I'm gonna go back and watch the whole game in entirety, probably later on today, and dig into some things there. But man, that was a tough loss. Hey, first of all, I want to congratulate Louisville. I think they had a pretty good game plan at the beginning. Uh, Miami didn't come out short. Made some bonehead things happen in the game, and it is what it is. But before we get started, Rocket Solo Dolo today. Uh, I'm gonna drop the call-in line. Also, it will be a link drop later on if somebody wants to come on, chop it up. But let's start at the end of the game. Now, I want to know who fault do you think that last interception was on? You know, I was sitting back and I kept rewinding the play, and it seemed like to me somebody ran the wrong route. Now I could be wrong, but it seemed like Corset Beck was suspecting one thing, something else happened. He threw the ball in anticipation. Receiver kept going down, or the tight end kept going down the sideline. It was a pick. Nice pick at that. I will say that. Went up there with you, Big Hell. Shout out to Notre Dame. I seen they did their thing. That was a tough game. But if you did see the game, let me know who fault do you think that last interception that was on? Now, Corset Beck didn't play a good game at all. I mean, 4 turnovers. I'm gonna pull his stats up here while I'm sitting up here. Let's get this game up here. While we sitting up here chopping it up. Okay, here we go. Player stats. He was 25 for 35, 271 yards, 4 interceptions. Now, you're not going to beat anybody, and I mean anybody, if you turn the ball over that much. To me, you know, I'm a rewind, and it's funny how stuff go out here in football land. You know, I was sitting up, and of course, when Miami lost, I'm getting Texas phone blowing up, everything. But boy, it's kind of crazy. You can't even get a phone call when they win, except for a handful of people. You know, people I know like Big Kev, we chop it up about Notre Dame. He a Notre Dame fan. Of course, he know I'm a Miami fan. But we got a lot of fair weather fans out there that they look to what's the word I'm looking for? Prey on your downfall. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't have a dog in the fight, so they just wait for something to happen. So, in me saying that, is that, you know, I'm trying to process the game. I'm watching the end of the game, and I kind of knew the game was kind of over even before they went and made it a 24-21 game. I just didn't have a good feeling just the way they was playing. And and at that point, I'm thinking to myself, man, you lucky to even be in this game, and only lose 24-21. And how I started off about the phone calls, I was thinking the guy texted me when I was watching the game, and he was talking about how horrible the defense is playing. And I didn't want to comment because, of course, I told you guys I hadn't watched the first half yet. And I know they did give up some big plays. But to have 4 turnovers and you still only allow 24 points, that's a testament to that defense. I know some guys out there might not agree. But with 4 turnovers, you only give up 24 points. Hey, you got to take your hat off because in the second half, I think they gave up, what was it, 14? They gave up 10 points in the second half. So they made some adjustments, uh, and it kept them in the game. We couldn't say that last year. We couldn't say that the defense would go out there, give up 4 turnovers, and they would even be in the game with a chance to win or win or tie going down the stretch. So, I mean, I'm not one to come on here and bash anybody. Anybody knows me. That's why I say I try not to get in my feelings when it comes to a lot of things that come with the game. I like to sit back and I like to kind of go off facts. That doesn't mean I'm not passionate. That just means I try to stay out my feelings. I ain't trying to offend nobody out there if you a female or something, but that's things that generally females do. They get in their feelings and they come on and they rant. So, and that's not me trying to be chauvinistic or nothing for any females that's out there. It's just, it is what it is. Most men, we try to deal with facts. And in watching that, I was like, okay, let me just take a step back because it's painful to see that even though players play the game at the beginning, it just seems like it was something like, I don't know, Mario kept talking about the rat, not falling for the rat poison, but the guys wasn't ready to play. You go down 14-0, you know, that lets me know that you're not ready. And it's funny how that goes because we had this conversation, me and Bigger Than E, a couple of weeks ago. And we talked about how when you start moving up the rankings, you become the 100, which means that everyone is going to give you your best shot. So you have to be prepared for everything. And sometimes, and it's not even Miami. I mean, I don't know how many top 25 teams lost this week. It was a brutal, was it 6 or 9? Somebody can put it in the chat, let me know. But you have to be ready each and every week when you come out to play. Because if you're not, this is what happens. You're trying to fight from behind. You're trying to you find yourself in a dog fight, and sometimes you come up short. Now, there were some bright spots in the game. I know a lot of Miami fans don't believe it, but I think again, Malachi Tony. I mean, we got to talk about it. I mean, that young bull out there, he out there balling, and you can't take that from him. So he tried to keep him in the game, but of course, some of them passes Carson was throwing out there, I don't know, he throwing in triple coverage. He just didn't seem like he was comfortable at all. In the second half, it seemed like they was getting a little bit more pressure on him. We're not even going to talk about the running game. I think they only ran for 60 something yards, 60 plus yards. Again, you're not going to beat teams only running 60, 62, 60, whatever they ran for, 60 something yards. Let's see here. 63 yards rushing. Yeah, you're not going to beat many teams rushing for 63 yards. You know, Miami did give up 119 yards on the ground, 248 yards rushing. Average yards per play, Miami had 5.7 yards per play. Louisville, 5.4 yards per play. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic when you dig into these stats. But the one thing that we could all agree that really hurt Miami was the turnovers. I mean, I can't stress. I mean, I'm at a loss for words because when I think of Carson Beck, and I done had people saying, "See, I told you. Look what Carson did when he was at Georgia. You know, he turnover machine, this and that and the other." And I'm not gonna lie, I've been one of his biggest defenders. You know, I said Georgia offensive line was bad last year, and it was. They had receivers dropping a lot of balls last year. So it's a lot of things that factored into how Carson played last year. But Friday night, he was just straight cheeks. I ain't. It's no other way to spin it. He played horrible. I mean, just think you have 4 turnovers and you lose by 3 points. Tough pill to swallow. Now, I'm not saying that Louisville didn't cause any of that because they did. They pressured them, they moved them around. In the second half, that offensive line just didn't play to me to its capability either. I mean, it's enough blame when you win as a team, you lose as a team. I mean, that's how it goes. I know people want to come on and bash Mario. Like I say, it's some things that we can, I'm not going to say bash, but be critical of them. And we'll get into that also. Do I personally think Miami is a good team or the team that I think they are? I do. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Big Kev. 3 of those turnovers was underthrown. Underthrown, one of them was underthrown in triple coverage. You know? So it's just crazy. It says, how is the O-line to play to his capability when 50% of his plays are the same thing? Well, I'm going to say this. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all watch football. It could look like the same formation, and you might have 5 or 6 different plays out of one formation. I know they run that tight formation, that bunch tight formation a lot, but they do run a lot of plays out of that formation. Now, me personally, I don't like it. It condenses the field, but I understand why they do it because it's a tough matchup with their receivers when you got them all in that bunch package. But we can't make excuses. The offensive line didn't play well. I mean, they played well in every game. So I'm not going to put the 50% on that. They know what they need to do. What up there, DP? Yeah, you know, like I was, that's what I'm saying. I had to compartmentalize because I still think they're the team that we think they are. The funny part about this is that that's why I keep going back to 4 turnovers. Like now I keep saying only losing by 3. Yeah, you lost, but but you showed fight, you had bright spots, and like I said, you had a chance to tie or win the game if it wasn't for a turnover. So it's not like, I mean, they have been outplayed all game long. We do know that. I think Louisville was the more physical team. I think they had a better game plan at the beginning. And I think it took a little bit of while for Mario to, or for Miami as a whole to catch his footing. So that is what it is on that one. Let me read some of these chats before I move on to the next one. Say, this is my issue with Mario. I'll put it on the screen here. I don't think I've seen him in here before. Kubi and Kane. Okay, this is my issue with Mario in the program. These coaches always blame someone else except themselves. I thought we were done with the undisciplined football with Mario, but this team lacks discipline. And I'm not going to say I totally agree with that. Now, and the reason why I'm going to tell you why I don't totally agree with that, if you've been watching the show from the beginning, we've all said Mario has gotten better as a coach. He's gotten rid of a lot of bad actors on the team when he first came in. Oh, and they talking about penalties. And I agree with the penalties because of the simple fact I've been harping on that. I harped on that. I said when they go on the road, you're going to be penalized more on the road. So you have to tighten those things up. And they had about, 9 penalties for 67 yards this game. One at a crucial time. But in saying that, I'm not going to say they a totally undisciplined team. They were able to overcome some of their penalties. And I don't think so much the penalties lost this game. I think the turnovers lost the game, personally. Because we wouldn't be even having this conversation if they went down and scored with that 23 seconds left. You know? So that's just my personal opinion for that. Because for me to say undisciplined, I'm thinking of guys out there taking personal fouls and spitting on cats and getting ejected and things like that. I think Mario got a tight rein. He have to his own admission is some things he need to clean up with the penalties. Now we do know in the first couple of games they were getting this shifting going on a defensive line for other teams that was making them jump outside that he was, I'm not going to say complaining about, but he was talking about and things of that nature. So again, I'm not going to harp on that with the undisciplined because that can go several ways. It's not too many teams that's going to go and not have any penalties. We know that. So, all right, what you got up here, Dennis? Mario is in charge and needs to be held accountable for this. He makes a lot of money. Same with Beck. Hey, I totally agree. I totally agree. But again, I think they do hold themselves accountable. You know, I'm gonna step back and like I say, a lot of you guys, some of you guys in here have watched the show at the beginning. It ain't too many people thought that Miami would go undefeated. And that's where I say that we have to get out our feelings and be realistic about it. And I'm not trying to gloss over this loss because they should have beaten Louisville. But we kind of knew that it would be one game that'll come in. Hopefully, and I say this, it won't be like Florida State that went out and lost to Stanford last night. You know, Norville might be done after that, but I digress on that. But I'm just saying that, and hopefully you don't get a loss and you start snowballing. But I don't see that. I just think the guys, they just made some mistakes. And secondly, to that point is that as you move on during the season, as I said before, teams start getting tape on you. Teams start understanding tendencies. and all those things. The things that hurt us last year, I'm hoping Mario cleans up this year because as you move on, you're not tricking anybody anymore. You have to be able to line up and beat teams physically. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see them come out next week in the Stanford game and see what happens there. It says worried about Corset's psyche going forward. Very TVD like on Friday. Yeah, I will agree. We had options open in the flat all night. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's why I made the reference to you don't want them to come out and be like Florida State. You hope more that they come out, and I hate to say it, and be like the Gators and keep fighting, and understand that hey, you got to put that loss behind you. It's a tough loss. It's a tough loss for Corset because I think he knows he didn't play well. So, it's not too much to say to that, at all. So me personally, I feel like we gave up on the run too early. We got to stop using screenplays to replace that outside running game. We ran on second down too much, way too much. Yeah, being predictable. I agree there, DP. It's like, how many total rushes did they have in that game? How many times did they run the ball? Let's see here. Got 8, 13, 15, 18, and 23 times if you count Corset running. So you take that off. 18 rushing attempts is not enough for your backs. And I'm going to take the 2 off of Malachi, the little sweeps that he did. So 16 times running the ball, definitely not enough. And I understand sometimes the way the game is being called and the way that they plan you dictates what you can do. We got to be honest about that. But you still got to attempt to run the ball more than 16 times. You just got to. A lot of blame to go around, but Mario has to get these penalties from the O-line under control. Totally agree. And I think you heard me talk about that. The offensive line, hey, I don't know what's going on and what's making these guys jump off sides. I don't know. But, we have seen this repeatedly game after game. So whatever's going on in that situation, they need to get game film on that and tighten that up. I mean, it is what it is. You say, hey, man, we lost the game. We got to stop blaming the coach every time. No team will win every game every year. Totally agree, Gio. That's why I said I had to take a step back. It's hard because when you have a chance to win the game, because we can't put all the blame on Mario. Can we put some? Yeah, he's the coach. He's going to be the straights. Can we put some on Helderman? Yeah. Can we put some on Shannon Dawson? Yeah. But ultimately, these guys go out and play the game. That's why I asked the question at the beginning on the last play, who fault was that interception? You know, go back and look at it. Did the receiver run the wrong route? Should Beck have known and just pulled the ball down and threw it away because you in field goal range? I don't know. It's interesting. New to the show, Beck had to make better decisions, get the tight ends more involved. I agree. Thanks for coming on to the show too. Hit that subscribe button if you want. I mean, like I say, it's one of them heartbreaking things. Beck is a 6-year senior. He needs to stop trying things and throw the ball to the flats. They were wide open. Stop trying to get the ball all in one play. You know, I hear you. I hear you. But I did notice a couple of times that when he was throwing the ball in the flat, Louisville was flying and crashing down on them boys. I mean, like I said, we just got to be honest. You might have seen a couple of times they were open in the flat. They wasn't open in the flat a lot from what I've seen. But again, you know somebody got to be open if you throw it at a triple coverage. I do know that damn much. You throw it at triple coverage, it's somebody definitely open. Now, the last interception, I mean, it wasn't triple coverage, but got peeled off. Uh, uh, who was that? Was it Lofton? Kept going, miscommunication, pick. Chris Bell over and over with no adjustments, bump him at the line. Yeah, you know what? The question is, can we do some toss plays sometimes or some counters and pull guards? I agree with you. I know they run that zone read, run up the middle a lot. That's their identity. But again, like I say, when teams start getting film on you, you got to be able to open it up. Now, I will say this. I know more, well, I don't know Mario personally, but the identity of the team is that we want to line our big physical offensive line up against your defensive line, and we want you to see if you could stop us for 4 quarters running the ball. That's what he'd have made his bread and butter on. And it just didn't happen for whatever reason. You know, like I said, I think the offensive line didn't play their strongest game. Did they play a bad game? No. Did they make penalties? Yes. They didn't play their strongest game, regardless of what plays that were called. It says the JoJo Trader issue needs to be resolved, needs to be on the field. Now, Dennis, we had talked about JoJo, and since you're new to the show, talk about him one more time for you. Whatever's going on in the JoJo situation, I agree it might be resolved. We don't know. We're not in the locker room. It's resolved because he's not on the field for whatever reason. Now, whether he needs to be or not, that's wide receiver coaches, head coaches' decision. Because if he can give them the best opportunity to win a game, I'm pretty sure they will put him on the field. Like I say, I'll try to take feelings out of it. Do I think JoJo can help the team? Yes. But evidently, he's not doing what it takes, and I don't know if he is or not. But evidently, they telling us out here that he's not doing what it takes to get on the field. And all we could do is just take it for what it's worth. They said he needs to work harder. Not me. I'm quoting what Mario said. Now, is he working harder? I don't know. You know, I can't answer that question because I'm not in practice. But whatever's going on, it's the coach's decision because he has the talent. We all know that to be on the field. So I'm not really sure why he's not. And again, just one of those coaches' things that, hey, it is what it is. You know, I would like to know if somebody got some inside information, solid, not speculation. On the last play, it was 3rd and 1, run the ball and play for OT. Hey, DP, that's what I was thinking. Hey, in all honesty, because they had timeout, run the ball, kick the field goal, go to OT. You fought back to get back in the game and rely on that. Put it on your defense to get you a stop. You done brought this defense in. They started playing uh, um, a lot better. They seemed like they had settled in. Were they giving up yards? Yes, but they were playing better. And yeah, give them an opportunity. But in the same token, in saying that, and this is where I say the double-edged sword comes in. We've been yelling all season that Mario is conservative. Have we not? Well, I haven't, but fans have. I always say do what you can to win the game. I don't care if you're conservative or not. But a lot of fans have. So if Mario would have completed that, or if Corset Beck would have completed that, they would have, had a first down. Well, I don't know if that was a first down or not. I got to go back and look. But anyway, it took a shot at the end zone. I wouldn't have been mad. I wouldn't have been mad, but I'm with DP on this. I think they should have ran the ball, ran the clock down, played for overtime, and battled that way. But I could see his thinking, hey, let's play for the win. Hey, it's a hard-fought battle. We in the dogfight. Let's try to get out of here with this win. I can see that too. So it's one of those things. I will repeat, Dawson is not an elite OC. Definitely not placing all the blame on him for the loss. But come on, bro. How many times do we go to run up the gut and throw wide receiver screens? I don't know if he's elite or not. I do question some of his schematics. So, and for us, the wide receiver screens, yeah, I'm thinking he's trying to get numbers out there. But once again, like I say, you've been doing this for 6 weeks now. Guys going to adjust, So, yeah, guys just going to adjust on that. I predict JoJo and Lofton will be in the portal ASAP. I don't give any predictions. I don't give any predictions. Whether they're in the portal or not, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, JoJo might be having some differences in opinions and coaching style. And sometimes the fit doesn't work. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's. See, this is the thing on this. I don't know if JoJo and the OC not seeing eye to eye. I don't know if him and Beard. I don't know if it's him and Mario. I just don't know enough about that to understand why he's not on the field. If he's as talented, which we all think he is, as they're saying. Now, in saying that, we do know one thing that's keeping him off the field, and that's Malachi, because that's where he would have been at if Malachi wouldn't have came and showed out. But let's just be honest about it. If we honest about it, Malachi really took reps from him. And that is what it is. It's the truth. But what's up, Chris Too Fly? It says spread the field sometimes to get more receivers involved. Yeah. Yeah. Because to me, I'm thinking, and to Chris's point on this, you got all this speed. I understand why you running a bunch formation. But like I said, sometimes spread them boys out. Go 5 wide, spread them out. You got speed. You got speed on the bench. You got speed in the lineup. Man, you can create some serious mismatches. But that's on Shannon Dawson, But as you guys say, it's on Shannon. I mean, sometimes with these OCs, it reminds me a little bit of Chip Kelly, even though he won the national championship last year with Ohio State. Sometimes they just got big egos and they don't want to change. They think it's their way, and their way is the only way. So, yeah, it is frustrating to see, to see all these receivers bunched up and you're not utilizing the whole field. But hey, it is what it is. You're right, my guy. Sadly, we didn't run the ball enough. It didn't look good at first, but you have to lean on smaller teams. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Now I'm gonna put this up here because say tell JoJo to come up to the 502. All right, Anthony Issa. Since we getting all this buzz about JoJo, I just want an honest opinion. Because I seem to get questions about JoJo every week. And I just want to say, I want to preface this. Is it that you guys out there, I'm talking about the fans, is it because he's a homegrown talent that y'all believe that his talent being muffled? Is it because I'm trying to figure out the conspiracy here. Because if he's not on the field, it's a reason. I see everybody keep saying, well, JoJo's going to go here and he's going to go there. I'm with any player, and I'm just taking JoJo name off of it. If you need to get playing time and you're not getting it in your current situation and you're talented, you need to go somewhere where you can get playing time. Now, that's totally different than guys that are getting playing time or were getting playing time and they transfer, like Horton. So it's a different dynamic. But I guess what I'm trying to understand is why do you guys think he's not on the field? Instead of saying he needs to go some other place, what is your personal opinion? Put it in the chat. Why he's not getting on the field? I'd just like to know. Say JoJo is getting paid big NIL money. This is a business. If you're not producing, get up the road. Get up the road somewhere. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. JoJo had 1 snap. Josh Moore had 4 snaps Friday night. Yeah. Yeah. Buttercup half full. Even with 4 interceptions, we could have still won the game. 5, really. Yeah. Yeah, that's been my thing. It's like, yeah, you could have still won the game. And that's why I tell people, and once I sit back and I process the game, is that, and me and Big Kev had this conversation after the Notre Dame game. He's a Notre Dame fan. And I knew that I said, look, sometimes you have hiccups during the season. I mean, it is what it is. And if you told me without watching the game that you would have 4 interceptions, lose by 3 points, I wouldn't believe it. Because we all know if you have four interceptions, you lose about 14 to 20 points. In most cases, unless your defense keeps you in the game, which we know wasn't capable of happening last year, the defense keeping us in the game. So, again, I'm not down on this team. Like I said, they had bright spots in the game. They had some turnovers, which wasn't happening last year. So yeah, it said JoJo played one snap, I think, and if he can play one snap, he could have played more. But that's the question. Why isn't he? That's my question. I don't know either. They say Josh Moore is in the doghouse for something, and I don't understand. You start against Notre Dame, but you can't play against Louisville. uh, yeah, like I said, and that's the thing when we're not in that room, and it could be something as simple as not blocking. You know, it we don't know. I mean, I personally don't know, but in saying that, they still had a chance to win the game. And hey, that's what makes it a tough loss when you play that poorly and you still have a chance. It said Mario was trying to win the game. Yeah. And that's what I and this is my thing with this. People come on all the time and say Mario, Shannon Dawson, like I said before, or conservative. High risk is high reward. Like I said, personally, I'm a conservative person. Should have ran the ball, set it up. If you believe in your defense, like you done been telling us you believe in your defense, you run that ball, you kick that field goal, you play defense. That's what I'd have done. But again, sometimes I think people get in their ear, and I think Mario probably would have did it the other way if in hindsight 2020, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak for the man because I don't know. It said Lofton doesn't need to be out there if he's hurt, not blocking well and definitely not receiving well. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Definitely not blocking well. Shit, he definitely not that. Oh man. DP, you gonna be at the Stanford game? Okay, hopefully they'll have a better display of football. Poor. Oh man, look, I watched the Stanford game against Florida State, and I can tell you this: Stanford didn't do a lot. Florida State just didn't do nothing. If you look at that game, and you know Castellanos got knocked out the game, I think it was under 5 minutes left or whatever. And when he went to slide and he got hit through a flag and hitting a defenseless person, quarterback slide and whatever they call unsportsmanlike, brought in the freshman. And of course, that's a bad situation for any freshman to be in. They were driving at the end, got a pass interference in the end zone, couldn't get it in from the 2 yard line. So, but Stanford didn't show me a lot. I mean, in that game, I mean, they just didn't. Now, like I said, you got to take every opponent. You can't take them lightly. But there's no reason, and I don't even know what the spread is on that game. But there's no reason they shouldn't go and throttle Stanford. JoJo isn't a slot; he's a Z or a C, I believe one of those. Okay, but still, what's the reason why he's not getting on the field? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure that out. No sense of having tight sets if you're going to run the ball. Yeah. It's like I said, it's just baffling because, when you lose a game or when a game is lost, and like I say, look at all the top 20 teams that they lost, top 25 teams. You start questioning a lot. And sometimes stuff is a lot simpler than what it seems. in saying that, it made me reevaluate some of my things that I thought about the team. And it's crazy because I would say this: Shannon Dawson does need to open it up a little bit more. I think he gets out in the first half. He calls a good game. Now, I'm not talking about the Louisville game. I'm talking prior weeks. So, and then in the second half, when teams make adjustments, it seems that they bog down. I just can't put this loss totally on Shannon Dawson when your quarterback throws 4 interceptions. I just can't do it. I mean, Shannon Dawson has a lot of blame, but if your quarterback is throwing 4 interceptions, and he's not taking a check down or hitting the open receiver, then it's on the quarterback. It's not on. I could just call the plays. And it sucks because coming into the season, we thought Lofton and JoJo were going to be two of the best offensive weapons. It's sad, to be honest. I'm sick of losing to lesser teams. Yeah, yeah. And I'm not even going to make light of that. It happens to a lot of teams too. That's why they say it's letdowns when you play certain teams. I don't think it's a letdown when they play Louisville. It shouldn't have been. I just think that for some reason, it just didn't come together. Louisville was ready to play. You have to give Louisville credit. They did what they had to do to win the game. Cause turnovers, shut down the running game. I mean, they did what they had to do. JoJo will be in the transfer portal in the offseason. Might as well let him go at this point. Kids ain't waiting in this area. True. But again, I guess it's the question that I keep asking. Why ain't he getting on the field? I mean, I'm still waiting for why you guys think he's not getting on the field. Because I don't know. If I'm JoJo's parents, he'll be gone. Hmm. Dude asked for a raise, and that pissed the coaches off. Secrets out. Hey, is that it? Hey, is that it? I mean, I don't know. Somebody let me know. Y'all agree? I'm assuming you're talking about JoJo, 1 milligram. We talking about JoJo there? He asked for a raise? I'm not sure. We didn't need the wide receivers as much as we needed to establish the running game against Louisville. Yeah, yeah. I'm in the same boat. I don't trust his coaching staff as far as I could throw anyone of the. Oh, wait a minute now. So are we talking offensive coaching or defensive coaching? Because hey, look, even though they gave up 24 points, I like what Heatherman brought. I've seen, and I say that in respect to I've seen improvement from last year. So are we talking offensively? I'm not sure. I said that because if JoJo was in a doghouse, why play him just one snap? Give the kid a chance, not just to get one snap. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would agree with this statement here too. It says every coach or Miami staff got out coached Friday night, even a defensive line coach. It's head scratcher. Yeah. And that's why I said at the beginning of this live, I had to kind of step back because I just think at the beginning of the game, they didn't come out like they were supposed to. And this is the problem that I try to tell or explain to people out there is that the more notoriety, the higher you move up in the rankings, everyone is going to give you their best shot, whether you're at home or whether you're on the road. I say that in respect to look at the Stanford game last night. They were down like, I think they had like 5 or 6 starters out and still found a way to win the game. Were they the better team? No. As bad as we want to rail against Florida State, they were clearly the better team than Stanford last night. Well, than Stanford. But Stanford, they were up for the game. They played, and they found a way. Florida State could have won it at the end. But I digress in saying that that's the thing that was frustrating about this game. You have to know that teams are going to be up for you when you're nationally ranked, when you're getting this much hype, when people saying you one of the best 4 teams in the country or the top 2 teams in the country, you got this big offensive line, you can't be stopped. Teams hear that. Now, you're not saying that as a team, but the pundits out there seeing that. And these kids watch all these shows and they thinking like, well, hell, what about us? And they're going to get up for you. And it's the coach's job to get these guys to understand that, hey, these games, or it means so much more to a lesser team. So they're going to come in and give you their all. You have to come out and blast these teams. That's one thing that we haven't. If it's one knock on this year's Hurricanes team, it's that for them to be ranked as high as they haven't came out and put their foot on anybody's throat. And you should do that. If you're the number 1 ranked team or number 2 ranked team in the country at that time, you should be coming out here blasting teams. That's the frustrating part. I don't know. It says, besides Tony, JoJo is the most talented wide receiver in that room. That's why we're all so upset about it. He should be out there dominating like Tony because we all know he can do it. He needs PT. Okay. But again, it goes back to the question, if you're that talented, what's keeping you off the field? Because I guess what I'm trying to figure out is do y'all think it's a now I don't like to use the word conspiracy. Let me think about this. Do you think the coach is holding him back? You think he did something, or what? Because say if it's a issue with discipline, which I'm not saying it is, so I'm just being hypothetical out there, or attitude, or whatever it would be. We'll just talk hypothetically. That's going to follow you no matter where you go, no matter how talented you are. If it's an issue with schematics that you don't fit somebody's scheme, then yeah, you bounce. I mean, because I'm trying to figure out who will make the call. I guess it would be Shannon Dawson. You guys agree that whether or Kevin Beard, I don't think Mario deciding if he should play or not, if he, or I shouldn't say or play or not, or if he's in on this play. or he's not in on this play. Usually they have the packages, they have the depth charts. They tell the guys, okay, no, you get in, you get out. The Mario ain't saying none of that. So is it Shannon Dawson? Is so now it makes me think it's him and Shannon Dawson not seeing eye to eye. I don't know. Like I say, it's confusing to me too. And I will say this: I don't know if he's the second most talented receiver in that room. I don't know because I'm not in practice. We could say he has all the talent. I mean, but I just personally don't know. I'm the kind of person I just got to see it on the field. I've seen C.J. Daniels. I mean, he's been making big plays all that year, so I would probably say he's the second best player on that offensive receiving core right now. You know, now I understand what you guys said. Given the opportunity, he would be probably as good as JoJo. I don't know, but even if we use that logic, let's go back to spring practice. Who were they talking about more? They was talking about Malachi a lot in spring practice. It's something going on there now, and I can't figure it out. That's why I'm asking you guys because I'm not really sure on that. Maybe somebody in this camp will come on and let us know. You know, we walk out the stadium and watch it in the parking lot. I was saying, saying, go to find Tony to find Tony in the situation, make the plays for him being option one, then look some elsewhere. Okay, yeah. Hey, he keeps saying this. He said because he asked for a raise. I I don't know if he would not be on the field because he asked for a raise. Because then you get into the Nico situation with Tennessee. I don't know. It could be factual. I don't know. Because the fact is, if he asked for a raise and he didn't get the raise, he's still on the roster. So, and if he's still on the roster and he gives you one of the better chances to win, why not put him on the field? Hell, you didn't give him a raise. Now, if you're telling me he asked for a raise and he's pouting because he didn't get a raise, and now he's bullshitting in practice, yeah, you're not going to get on the field. I mean, come on now. So if that's the reason why he asked for a raise and he's pouting, which I don't know, I'm just going off what the chat is saying here. I'm not saying he is or not. I don't know if he asked for a raise, but if he did, and then he's holding it, he's holding, or he's not out there performing, or like I say, I like to use the word pouting. Then that's on him. I don't know. What's that there? 805, 850. You say, yeah, something like that won't fly very well with Mario. I think he's talking about the raise. Here we go. Say, like me, only showing up to work one day a week and then asking my boss for a raise. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. Like I say, if anybody could confirm that, I don't know. That's the crazy part about it. It's one of those things that you can ask for a raise. We all have jobs where we felt like we should be making more. And I'm pretty sure, if you lived as long as me, we all been told no too. So now how did that make you feel? Some of us had kids, my kids are grown, so but you got to do what you got to do, even when you don't get that raise. And some of us been in a situation, you like to hell with that job. I work my tail off and the hell with this job. I'm more valuable and I'm moving on. Look, and either way is correct. If you got a family support, hey, get your money. If you feel like your worth is better some other place, leave. You know. All right. As sure as my ass this morning I wake up, Brom coaching Miami Friday, he would have beaten Louisville by 28 points. I don't know. I don't play the woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, that has more to do with Dawson and his coaching style. Not really sure on that one. If you look up at the first interception at the wide receiver on the left, he had him beat his man deep, but Carson threw the ball in the triple coverage, and Tony was interfered with, no call. Yeah, I have heard people say that, and like I say, I didn't watch the first half. I've just seen the condensed version. So I did see he threw in triple coverage. So that's just one of those things that it says 0 points off those four turnovers. Dawson failed to adjust. Yeah, and the anarchic scheme was yeah. Well, I would say this: it didn't work this game. It didn't work this game. I agree with this here. I'm gonna put this up here with 1 milligram. Say if JoJo asks for a trade, all went south from there. Mario's a culture guy, and I'm gonna tell you why I agree with them. I've interviewed, you guys know, to watch the channel, Alex Dono, Coach Sullinger, Joaquin Gonzalez, and all these guys talk about how Mario is very big on culture. They told me some stuff behind the scenes that I keep private conversations, but yeah, he's big on that culture and loyalty and putting in the work and earning what you get. And I'm not saying that JoJo didn't is not exuding those things. I don't know. You know, I'm not sure. But he's big on culture. And if he did, I could see stuff like you say going south. That's what I'm saying. The defense got off to a slow start, but they still made stops when needed. We should have been pressing Bills, but the defense did enough to win us the game. Yeah, I totally agree. 850. Like I said, you give up four turnovers. I just totally agree there. That defense did enough to win that game. That's the most frustrating part. That's just the most first frustrating part. He said, I damn sure don't want to hear about Miami has the best offensive line in the country anymore. I don't know. I ain't gonna say look, well, the best offensive line I think probably is Ohio State. So, you know, they look dominant in all phases of the game right now. But Miami does have a good offensive line. I'm not gonna just dismiss them for playing one bad game. That's what I don't do. I mean, they have been dominant. Corset Beck has been clean. I think he only had a couple of sacks coming up into this game. So, that offensive line's been playing really well. You say the ACC is not bad as the media saying it is. They have really good teams in this league. I agree. I agree. You know, you have to really watch out when it comes to the media because they have spent a lot of stuff and they want everybody to think that, the Virginias and all them are not that good and Georgia Tech and them. And even when I talk to people, I'm like, hey, you got to be careful, man. Well, first of all, in any conference, when you get in conference play, it's going to be dogfights. You know, they know tendencies. They play each other every year. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, the media out here, they pushing the narrative, the ACC, the same stuff that they push every year. So yeah, I don't get caught up in that. The ACC is a solid conference. The thing that with the ACC, they have parity from top to bottom. I shouldn't say all the way to the bottom because people get it, want to take your words out of context. So the run has been stagnant for 2 games now. If Dawson continues, A gap runs, we aren't going anywhere. Defense just pinching the A gaps. Yeah. It's interesting that formation because I think it worked, I shouldn't say better when they had Martinez last year, big physical. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let's say, could JoJo have an injury not disclosed or ah? I haven't heard anything about injury. Maury on this team is soft, man, and the run plays are so predictable. I don't think they soft double B, man. I don't think they soft. The only reason I'm gonna say, look, that defense that we seen Notre Dame flying around hitting, that defense we seen against Florida flying around hitting. Nah, I can't go out and say they soft. I can't say they soft. Hey, can you play one game and look soft one game? Yeah. But overall, if you go back and look at all their games, they've been pretty physical. What's up, Lito? It said, bro, I told oh, they told us in the spring, Tony, JoJo, and Lofton. And now Lofton is no factor and JoJo is unseen. This is criminal. All right, who is they? Because I don't know. And I have to go back and look at some of the tape too, because I watched so many interviews and stuff. So and was that before people came in the portal and dynamics started shifting? Because when guys come in the portal, people get pushed back. I mean it reminds me when we had this discussion for those that's been in here about people coming in the portal and pushing people back that the home team feels like should be starting. The coaches are seeing something different than what the fans are seeing. I'm not here to defend any one of them. I don't, like I say, I don't know because I don't be in practice. So I can't, and that's why I just asked the question, why isn't he on the field? Because I don't know. I don't know why. Lofton I thought was hurt a little bit. So, and he really hasn't done a lot. So, and we could be honest that really the only contributors is, big time is a freshman and your transfer players, you know, besides your running back. But the other one, Marty, that transferred in, he had been balling. So, I mean, it's interesting. Another thing I really hate to see Friday night was Mario clock management. I thought we were past that. Yeah. And that's the crazy thing, 850 about that is that I thought he was playing for the win at first. But then when it started ticking down, I said, well, hell, he's just gonna run the ball and just kick a field goal, put it on his defense. But evidently we were wrong. Now, the thing with the clock management is on the last drive. Like I said, I didn't have any problems with it. I just think something got crossed up on that last play. I think if that last play would have been completed, we'd be having a totally different conversation today. We still would be having a conversation about, them giving up 14 points, going down 14 nothing, blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll be having that conversation. But hey, they said a raise for what? He hasn't done nothing to deserve a raise. Yeah. Shit. uh, they said that last interception was the most costly. Hell yeah. Shoot. That last interception. Oh man. Yeah, that was something else. Yeah, that's something else. He say, "Hey guys, I know it was a heartbreak, but went out. You guys are beater. Yeah, yeah. It's a long season. You just got to bounce back, and when you bounce back, things happen. It's just how it crumbles. The most heartbreaking part about that is that it's when it's there and you don't play good. That's why I think somebody put in the chat earlier that they hope that Carson they'll go the route of TVD. A lot of people, if you don't know, they talking about Tyler Van Dyke. When the wheels came off of Tyler. I don't I'm not going to say it will because I just think Carson made up a little different than Tyler, but there's no shade against Tyler. So that Louisville defense was flying around like their hair was on fire. Yeah, yeah. Hey, but the reason why, like I try to say, you get up the Louisville defense, or when any team, it ain't even just Louisville. When you come in and you playing these ranked opponents that's getting a lot of pub, take it to like how Colorado was last year and 2 years ago. And when teams would get up to play them because of all the notoriety that they were getting, that's what happens. It's just like that. I may be wrong, but one of these team photos looked like JoJo was throwing up gang signs. Oh no, I didn't see that one. Unless it was some type of local high school or South Florida sign. I don't know about it. Look at this. Look at his hands. I don't know. 850's put it in my send me an email or something. You got my email. Send it to me. I'll take a look at it. Oh, somebody say he threw up the 305 sign. Okay. I'm a little slow in this chat. I'm gonna catch up with you guys in a second. It says sometimes in conference opponents just can game plan better than out of conference opponents. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He said he said JoJo needs to hire 850 as his agent. Where you gonna send him 850? Because something going on in there where he not getting on the field. So it said I heard all the media was going to the practices that JoJo, Malachi, Lofton, and Daniels were having a big off season. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I did read this too. It's about the three halftime thing. And like I said, harking back to what I said earlier, I didn't see the first half. So yeah, I don't understand why he kept three in his pockets. That is crazy. Not even watching the game. It's just crazy to have your, all your time out to don't use it. You know. That's why I said you have to go to your best player at the end of the game to get the best to 10 live or die try. Yeah. Yeah. I truly believe Miami is going to lead the ACC without ever winning a damn thing. That Louisville loss is going to keep us out of that game this year. I've sure wanted to play Georgia Tech in Charlotte. I don't know. Like it's a long season. But I don't know. It might. I don't know. I mean, if you watch Georgia Tech, they look good, but I mean, they playing some close games too. There's some games that could have easily went their way. They'd have found ways to win it. Testament of a good team. But I don't know. I think if Miami handle their business, it's going to be tough. Going to SMU, they look good yesterday. Yeah, so I don't know. But you guys, hey, look, I appreciate you guys tapping in with me, man. I'm up out of here. Y'all enjoy this Sunday. Enjoy watching some Sunday football. Don't drink too much adult beverages. If you ever subscribe to the channel, please do. And share this video. Get it out there for me. Once again, all about the you. Love you guys. I'll let you next week. Saturday. Sorry about that. Didn't come on Saturday yesterday, but I just needed to take this game in before I came and hollered at you guys. So I'll holler back at you. I'm out.